when I was like first getting into this, that was one of the main issues that I was concerned about on the editing back end. I was like, man, because it's really weird actually. Like the video, I think it's the video slows. It's like slower than the audio over time. Like it'll start out in sync at the beginning of the podcast, and then over like 20 minutes, it'll start to lag behind because the video, like, I guess it makes sense. I guess picking up like imagery and video is more, I guess I don't know fucking how to describe it. It's more intensive data processing, so I don't know. It's really fucking weird, but
so by halfway through the video, the voice doesn't match up with what they're hearing.
Yeah, and then it's just all over the place. So you kind of gotta like cut and splice and shit. But there's a way you can do it in like Adobe Premiere Pro. It's like an automatic tool that'll do it for you, but that's like a $200 subscription. Or some Adobe products are so expensive, so I just use iMovie.
They offer a thing for students. So basically, have you seen that?
No. Oh, I might have seen that.
So it's like all Adobe products, and as long as you have a university email, and I was using mine up until last year, even though we've graduated. So
yeah, but I don't know if mine probably still works. It's been like 2 years.
I don't know. I just tried to reset my password in there, and it says the username's not recognized. So we've been out of the game too long.
Dude, it was a gift getting like Outlook or all those like Microsoft products. It's like
Office products for free.
For free.
That's a pretty plug.
Yeah. Now I gotta bum it off my mom's account.
Really?
That's what I do. Yeah, I have like Word and like Excel and everything on there. So it's not. I never fucking really use it except like Word, but it's nice to have, I guess. But dude, yeah, your shirt is nuts. Like I love that shit.
JT brought it up yesterday, so I was like, might as well break it out.
Dude, seriously, that's nuts. The chain too looks sick. Looks sick, bro. So where did you get that? Like, was it in just like a market or?
Yeah, so we had a few day break from teaching, so we went to, I think it was a place called Taichung, and it's like northwest part. It's south of Taipei, which is the capital city. But yeah, we were chilling there for a weekend and just walking through a night market, and we were gonna go to the clubs after. So we were looking for clothes to wear like in the night market to buy and wear to the clubs that night.
Sweet.
And so I bartered for this bad boy and.
Dude, that's sick. Literally going to shop for clothes you're going to wear that night. Yep. That sounds like fun.
And they're all super outlandish. Like, they're equally as outlandish as this one. So it was just, like, choosing through them all.
When you walked out, literally the sun was, like, it looked absolutely wild.
Yeah.
I was, like, from, I think if you're a little bit of ways away, it probably just, like, sparkled. Like, that's what it looked like fucking for me. I was like, what the hell? That's gnarly.
Wild.
Dude, that's crazy. That reminds me of just going, like, to Goodwill and like getting just for fun.
Things.
I haven't done that in a while. It is fun going thrifting though.
And there's a ton of them around. You have like St. Vincent, St. Paul, Goodwill. Like there's a bunch of different ones. Whereas when we were up in school, it was literally just Goodwill.
Yeah, like you just drive out to East Town Mall. There's like one Goodwill.
Yeah.
Not a lot of options.
Yep.
Dude, when I went out to I went on a vacation with my mom out to like it wasn't Portland. It was Seattle. Went to Seattle, Washington, and we were just there for I think like maybe 2 nights. We were doing like the whole West Coast type thing, not the whole West Coast, like Pacific Northwest. But we were just like, all right, let's go to like let's find a Goodwill or like let's find thrifting stores because Seattle is just like got crazy like cool. Like, just crazy like thrifty stuff,
right?
You know, but there was a Goodwill there that was literally the biggest Goodwill I've ever been in my life. 4 floors, like,
no way,
dude. Yeah, it was nuts. It was 4 floors, with like steps going down, and like on each level there's like a boutique on one level, so kind of like a little bit high end stuff. There was like sports section on one level, like casual stuff on the other level. That was where I got that the blue robe thing.
Is it like a kimono?
The kimono.
Yeah.
That's where I got that. Was in Seattle. Oh my god. Yeah, dude. Remember when I wore that out for Halloween?
Facts.
Dude,
yep.
That's fun.
Went crazy.
Yeah, bro. Shit, man. I missed you though. I felt like forever.
It did. It was a
Damn.
very weird period, especially for you guys
Mm-hmm.
seeing the world continue to be shut down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was thinking about definitely asking you that, like how COVID was different over there, because it must have been way different during that period than it was over here. Because at least in my kind of like experience through it, it was kind of like a slow roll. Like nobody really knew. Like it took a while, obviously. Like with people around here, I guess for like people to, I think it took a while for people to realize like, oh, okay, we need to. Like it took a month or two before stuff started like actually happening and like masks came out and stuff like that. Because I remember there was a period like April, May, where pretty much everyone was just like, well, what do we do? You know, everything was kind of going normally. People were buying a lot of toilet paper, but that was kind of about it. But I don't know. Like I guess, how was it? Was it like completely different over there, or like at the beginning of it and like through it? Or like, I guess I'm kind of just curious how that whole went, because obviously I know different political structures and different regulations, different just culture, different socioeconomic, stuff. I guess
Making completely different choices on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
So I guess I was awarded the unique opportunity to be somewhat of a subject expert now in public health, because now I've seen how COVID has taken over 2 countries.
Dude, seriously.
Leaving it when it was shut down, this one, and then as I was coming back from Taiwan, it was shutting. The reason I came back when I did was because the country was shutting down because of COVID. So
right, you would have stayed there. You would have stayed there longer.
Yeah. Let's see. I would have gotten back 3 days ago.
Damn.
Yep.
Damn.
So
yeah, you got back about a month early then.
Cut me short by a month, because I was just sitting in my apartment waiting. Because the way that they do it is they implement nationwide lockdowns on a variety of scales. So let's see, level 4 would be that you have no reason to be outside. Just stay in, hunker down, order food in, or eat the food that you have.
Level 4. They have levels.
They have levels.
Wow.
And they were stuck.
Whole nation. Like it's not.
Correct.
This is not like there's no local.
Correct.
The
city governments do have a little bit of sway, and like it means that if you get caught without wearing a mask, how much is the fine? But you're supposed to be fined if you are caught outside without a mask at the variety of the levels, especially 3 and 4. I think. So.
What's level 3?
Level 3 is what basically I sat in for. I think it was 5.5 weeks. We sat inside. Like basically, it was a month, and we sat inside waiting, just watching the news, waiting to see.
Ordering food in and stuff.
Yep. Ordering food. No restaurants, and a lot of restaurants, honestly, because they're family establishments, like. The bottom floor would be the restaurant. The top floor would be their house. The restaurants would just be closed because they're hunkering down. So a lot of the restaurants even were shut down.
Jesus.
So it's like chain restaurants. They're a thing there. Western, like you have KFC, you have pizza, but like the majority of the places that people go to eat every day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner are mom and pop shops with the families living upstairs. So to lose like 1/3 of all those restaurants.
1/3.
Yeah, I would say.
Well, that's kind of similar to what happened here as well in like big cities like New York and like Los Angeles and other big cities where a lot of like small time restaurant owners got put out because they were like the first. They were some of the first with like movie theaters and stuff.
Yep.
And like big stuff. That's crazy. So that was like a third of restaurant.
Yeah, like
places
to buy food basically being closed, and they have a huge culture like eating takeout and eating out culture. So that was like a huge shock. Walking down the street, and 1 out of every 3 restaurants is kind of closed and shuttered for the time being.
Right. What do you do? Yeah, it's just like,
and it created that much pressure on the ones that were open. Like whenever so the news would come on at 2:00 every day to announce the COVID numbers, to announce various municipalities talking about where they think it's going to go or what they will do to protect. So like city officials mixing with government officials. So we'd wait until those 2:00 news. And if it was positive or negative, if it was positive, we'd know we didn't need to rush out and go to the grocery store because there's probably not going to be a lot of people there. But if the numbers were rising, or if one of the city officials said something that was kind of like concerning, there would be an influx of people going to like the small little grocery stores.
Just like that.
Yeah, they were very reactive. It was very weird to see.
Wow.
And everyone, 23 million people, are all tuned into this one broadcast of all the city officials. Like
really?
Because it infects the entire country. Whereas here, like we hear bits and pieces of how COVID's going down in Florida,
Mm-hmm.
but we don't watch the
Florida news,
or like the Florida city public
True.
health officials
True.
talking about
True.
what they're doing. We just
It's
hear
like NBC
broad
and
strokes.
like yeah.
But
the
this
big
one,
the big ones.
right? So
Yeah,
this one
big
had
media.
everyone tuned in. Everyone had the same source, and so
Wow.
all choices were so reactive and they were so widespread. Like everyone was doing the same thing because they only had one source.
It was like a very easy route to manipulation too, and like that's scary.
Yeah,
to me,
you have to have full trust. You
Yeah,
literally
yeah.
have to have
It's a
full
lot of
trust.
it's a lot of power
Mm-hmm.
in having one voice or one place that's giving out one voice to the entire population.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking crazy.
There is and a lot of that public trust was built though because at the beginning, the reason I could go there was because they were handling COVID so well at a time where we were shut down completely.
Mm-hmm.
So to be able to be in that environment was just so crazy to see how an entire different country handled it so completely differently. They shut down at the beginning. They were like not even taking a chance because have you ever heard of the SARS virus?
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. SARS virus in the 90s wrecked Taiwan. Like it was
Real.
And
Okay.
they took that to heart. So
Right.
ever since the SARS virus, they've been having like practice drills. They had PPE
Wow.
stored. They've been
Holy
on it,
shit.
just basically waiting for something like this to happen. And the main thing though that really helped them was shutting down the border at the beginning because it saved them from being shut down during the whole time that America was till second week of May. May of 2021 was the first time that COVID actually had a significant change in the lifestyle of the Taiwanese because they were still going to school. They were wearing masks, and having their temperature checked in and out.
The border was just it
But
was
the-
was locked.
Yeah, the border was locked. But then we weren't going to school. I finished school online here in America.
Right.
But they never stopped going to school.
That's gnarly. I
So-
wonder how the supply chain works with that kind of thing. Maybe
Years
Fuck.
and years and years.
that's crazy. I mean, obviously they got it planned out.
Yep.
Cause damn, yeah, I remember hearing something about that with SARS affecting, some countries over there, Taiwan being one of them.
Yeah, at the
That's nuts.
beginning of COVID, I think they used SARS as kind of like the benchmark for things like transmission rate, just as it was only 20 years ago. So
I remember when, I remember in middle school there was like swine flu and like kind of that little stuff. But it was never even like, it was just like brush on the shoulder, like whatever.
Yeah,
Nobody.
It maybe have impacted us for 2 weeks, but not something
Nothing
that
like
changed the
this.
trajectory of
Right.
countries, people's lives,
Dude.
cost them lives.
That's insane though. That whole. I mean, it makes sense if that population got devastated by a virus before that they want to be that much more prepared next time. And I mean that's what we're gonna have to end up doing, and I'm sure that's what globally everyone's gonna end up having to do is just. Yeah, prepare for something like this again because it's only inevitable that something like this will happen again.
Even with the Delta variant, look at the Delta variant.
Yeah, it's fucking
nuts,
nuts,
it has the
bro.
same name as COVID, but they've been saying it moves like chickenpox, which is kind of scary. Like,
dude, I just went to Woodbins and like got some stuff
yeah,
at the grocery store. Like
masks
most
everywhere?
people were wearing masks.
Nice.
I was like, holy fuck! I did not expect that.
Yeah.
I didn't have one on because I honestly didn't even know that Dane County implemented them back again. Like
Really?
No, yeah, I didn't hear about. I heard about the news like a few days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Is it a requirement now for us?
I have no idea. Yeah, I just basically saw the headline and I was like, oh shit, I guess this is coming again. But I mean, I didn't see any like signs outside of the store saying like this is required, so I wasn't too sure. But it was just interesting because I was like, holy fuck. This is the most massive thing I've seen on people in months.
And
Like,
I guess
Jesus.
that does kind of make sense because in a place like Madison, where a lot of the population, a very large or higher percentage of the population is vaccinated, so you'd think that they'd be that much more adverse already to it. So if there's a chance that they would get it, they would be the first ones to wear masks. So I bet that's why we're seeing so many more people wear masks, is because people have been safe. The overwhelming majority of people have been safe here.
Well, it's kind of. Yeah, I honestly think what I'm remembering now is like it's basically what they were saying is you should wear a mask if you're not vaccinated, 100% vaccinated. If you are 100% vaccinated, like you should, you're good.
I think that's what a lot of the businesses use that one.
Yeah, pushing for that, which is good. I mean, whatever, but yeah, it was nuts though. Go walking in there, I felt kind of weird because I was like one of the few people not wearing one. I felt kind of bad. I was like, oh shit, even though I'm vaccinated, but whatever. But yeah, the differences between countries, man, that's so unique. I feel like. It's definitely why, I'm super curious about that because not many people had that type of experience.
Lived through the two shutting down of two different countries.
It also must have been fucking terrifying, to be honest. Like,
yes.
Because I was, just imagine, like, you got this dope ass scholarship to do this educational stuff out there, and expecting to see the sights, go like basically have obviously you did have an experience
professional
of a
sabbatical,
lifetime.
Basically. Like I don't have a teaching degree. I don't have a background in education, so it was just a completely horizontal job change for a little while. So
definitely a shakeup. But when that all started, started right when you got out there. So it was just.
I was supposed to be out there August of 2020. So originally it's an 11-month grant, and it got cut down to 6. They finally let us in. They were in talks with the Taiwanese government.
Months. That's what you were.
I was supposed to be there for 11 months. And so come May of 2020, they're like, just a heads up, we don't think you're going to be able to go in August. We'll push you back to January 1st. You have the option to defer, so you would take the 6 months, you'd stay, and then you go for the full year next year. But I don't know.
Yeah, that's like.
For me, I was using this as a way to kind of round myself out as a human before I jump into the job field, and to take a year.
Definitely.
I risked that, but yeah. So it being cut in 6 months from the get-go was definitely disappointing. It added things like the 14-day isolated quarantine in a hotel room.
Right.
It added the 7-day self-manage where you report where you are at basically any time outside the house, and then.
Is that all through phones and stuff?
Yeah. So when we got off the plane, we were just put in a huge line, and we bought SIM cards there because we joined internet service providers over there and everything, and that's how they tracked us. That's how they let us know what was going on, and also they were so precise with the GPS on those things that if we were walking into a group of crowd, you get a text that says you're walking into a large group of people. Please stay away.
Wow.
That's how good the monitoring was.
Holy fuck.
Yeah. So one time, two of the people I was out there with, we were chilling in the hotel because you don't see a soul for 14 days. You get the knock on the door, you go out there, you grab your food. There's cameras outside in the hall making sure you don't step out of the room. So you're in there.
What? There's cameras in the hallway?
Oh, for sure.
There's cameras in the streets too, right?
Yep.
Yeah, there's
CCTV.
cameras. CCTV.
And that's how they would do.
I'm gonna check this video real quick.
For sure.
I'm gonna remember what we're talking about though. Cameras and fucking. All right, sweet.
Still going?
Exactly, almost 20 minutes.
Sweet.
I had that issue last time.
Rip.
Hopefully it keeps going.
A lot less editing required when you don't have to stitch things together.
All right, yeah, dude.
So the tracking.
Yeah,
so basically,
tracking. Oh my god, that's crazy.
2 of my friends there, they turn their phones off and on, just randomly while we were in the hotel. But the GPS put them outside. The GPS flashed to the police that as it was resetting, it put them outside the hotel, making the police think that they were outside the hotel during that 14-day quarantine.
Oh god.
And so they got a knock on the door a few hours later that wanted to make sure that they were still there.
God.
So
the cops showed up?
Yep, the cops showed up at the door.
Whoa.
We get a call every night at like 7 o'clock, and it would ask us to report our temperature, ask us if we're experiencing any symptoms, and they would call back every day for 14 days.
Holy fuck.
So it's those kind of safeguards.
Yeah, that's why they kept the fucking shit so low.
Yep. So things like that definitely impacted the experience of being over there for as long as it did.
But it's also worth it because you also got to go clubbing, and like once you got past all that, you could like actually go out and experience.
Right. The only requirement of masks was in public transportation, which I did. I was in a city of it was 2.8 million people, so the subway system was, other than the motorcycle, the subway system was a great way to get around. So you just pop on a mask as you're going into the subway system and take it off right away. Other than that, masks were optional when I was teaching, which was nice. Up until
nice.
the end, they were mandatory. But
good for like communicating.
Especially like I was teaching phonics,
kids.
so like
they need to be able
the pronunciation. They need to be able to see where my
Yeah.
tongue is. They need
Right.
to see where my lips are. So that would have been really difficult.
Mm-hmm.
So and then
just off audio, I can't imagine like
mm-hmm.
somebody with a mask trying to teach me like Spanish.
And that's why our teaching got cut a month short, because when we went online, they didn't have like the resources available to them they just basically had to create a Google Classroom, give out the links to all the kids and their parents, and they had to join, and they had to do it on the fly. Whereas in America, the kids like didn't have to go to school for a few days. They got time to prepare. There's tons of resources. So when things moved online, things like English instruction from an English teacher, which I can speak Chinese, but I can't do classroom management through Google Meets. Like I can't have the same level of interactions. So that's why they cut it even a month earlier at the end. So basically,
and that's more like writing. You're like actually having to type stuff, right?
Right.
Like
I'd build presentations and I'd give them the videos for it. But in terms of like my impact in the classroom, it was
so
significantly hurt when it goes online.
So much
to
more,
nothing.
Yeah, so much more in person, so much more valuable in person. I mean, that's gnarly. So the transition from real world school to online school was like instantaneous, almost. Is what you're saying? Like,
yeah, I think it was. They got 3 days. They had 3, and
Jesus. And they just used like Google Classroom.
Yeah, Google Classroom. I think they were stuck to everyone used Google Classroom, maybe some Zoom, but.
I guess that's all you really need. That's all you can really do.
And I felt so bad because of the way the standard of living, and because we're teaching in disadvantaged schools, that not all the kids had access to parents that could stay home and watch them, because these were kids kindergarten through 6th grade that we had the potential of teaching. I only taught 5th and 6th. So the kids were a little bit older that could stay home, while usually both parents would go to work. But some kids didn't have access to device that could get on Zoom or
reliable
Google Classroom.
internet.
Reliable internet. Parents to watch them and to take care of them.
And
so
to like help them through. I can't, like, if a kid's alone.
Right.
A little tiny kid is alone.
We talked about this in America. Like, that was a topic. Like, what are we going to do about the kids
that
don't have PCs or things like that? And for as much as I know, we found ways around it. But there wasn't funds set aside so that public schools could give their kids internet accessible devices, things like that. So the kids were just literally, for lack of a better term, shit out of luck. Like,
they were screwed.
Yeah, so that's the real loser. I got to see the real losers firsthand. Dude,
that's shit, man. I was when we were in the depths of it, I was listening to a lot of podcasts about like this fucking school problem and the fact that these young kids are losing so much, like just in this, it's so long for a little kid, like 1 full year of just of not being able to get real, I guess, in person, schooling. Yeah. And I was hearing a lot of stories too of, same thing over here with, it's just so, and I'm sure like you said, you saw it firsthand, where it comes down to those like household differences, and then if the kid, like I was saying, if the kid doesn't have like a supportive parent there kind of pushing them to get through it, or like, I mean, I don't see. Obviously, some kids are gonna have it better than others, but man, I feel like that would be so hard.
And not even just from a learning perspective, but from a social perspective too. Yeah, like imagine
that's the biggest thing.
Pulling us out of 3rd or 4th grade, and you just sit there for basically a year.
That's the biggest thing.
And you're faced with apps that are designed to keep you engaged. Like, depending on where you live, the weather's not so great, so you can't go out and do normal kid things. Like, it was just. They're at a significant disadvantage. The Fortnite generation is at a very significant disadvantage.
Dude, seriously, bro. The Fortnite generation, yeah. Because that game, that game like attracts younger kids,
right?
Like that, yeah.
The ones we played it, we can play it as older individuals, but it doesn't have like the draw. We don't need it on an iPad, a phone, and a gaming system.
Jeez.
Like,
I didn't know it was that bad.
Oh. If you just walk around a mall, you'll see the kids stuck on a phone, and if they're old enough to have any sort of use of their thumbs, they're probably playing Fortnite. So that's just
so addictive.
It's just a way to group that young. I don't know I don't know if they're Gen Z, but the Fortnite kids.
The Fortnite kids. That's hilarious. Dude, yeah. Seriously though, fucking, yeah. That is wild though. All that shit about the schooling stuff, man. Yeah, the social thing I think is huge. I can't imagine. I mean, what I was thinking of was, man, it's gonna be interesting to see these kids grow up and 10 years from now, those perspectives, because it's not like they're gonna forget that.
Right.
Like, holy shit. I mean, when 9/11 happened, that was, I mean, I was fucking like 5.
Do you have any recollection?
No, none, zero. I mean, I was 4.
Yeah.
97. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the earliest memories I have, which is so weird.
Really?
Was getting pulled out. I still remember all the parents lining up outside. We must have been pre-K, right?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kindergarten or first grade.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
So
I think I might remember something about them putting it on the projector. Something.
Really?
Like, yeah.
So I remember someone coming in and telling our teacher, who was at the front of the class, she whispered, and then her face just completely changed. And then the vibe just felt super serious as a 4-year-old picking up on vibes.
Yeah.
But then she hopped on the phone. Someone else came in to like kind of distract us or whatever. And then they said, your parents are coming to pick you up. And they sent us home for the day. And it was all super solemn. Like, my mom just rushed me home. And I don't remember being able to watch. I remember being able to watch TV, but as long as there wasn't like footage, as long as it wasn't planes in the background or anything. I just remember hearing the sound of the TV. And then my mom standing in front of the TV and watching. That's
Jesus. Yeah. I mean,
so these kids are going to have a similar recollection of that, but it's a year long.
Well, dude, yeah, that's what I was going to bring it back to was the fact that, personally, I think I have some very faded memories of like maybe my teacher putting the news on like the projector and everyone was like watching. That was like it. I don't know. But yeah, I was connecting it to that because, I mean, that was like one day, like just this like thing, this terrorist attack that happened in one day. Obviously it had repercussions that lasted a long time, but the initial thing, like that thing was, it was this instant, this attack, and yeah, all this being like a year long, I can't even imagine.
All comes down to trauma,
dude. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see those kids grow up. That's for sure. Those stories, yeah. I mean, it's going to form a whole new type of human being, pretty much, when you think about it. Like, it's fucking crazy, man. But I was going to ask you about your motorcycle stuff, because I'm still very curious about, like, how you came across that and just that feeling of riding through all that traffic and stuff like that on those roads. Because I've definitely thought about maybe getting a bike one day or like something, but it always kind of scares me, just you are in absolute total control of your life.
Yep.
Like in those moments, and even though like your bike wasn't like a full-fledged like motorcycle,
it wasn't a crotch rocket by any means.
by any means. We'll have to talk to Matt about that.
Yep.
Because he's the guy for that. But I mean, to me, when I was seeing those snaps of you and the bike, I was like, man, I was picturing you zipping through these like crazy hills and the dirt roads, if there's dirt roads, all over the place. Like, I don't know if you have like a craziest bike experience or like,
I've got a couple,
or just like a gnarly story. I feel like that would be cool.
I'll just start with the backstory of how I got on the bike, because I have, prior to going to Taiwan, I've sat on a dirt bike before. Yeah,
I was surprised because, man, when I saw the picture, I was like, holy shit, what? That's not the Noah I know. getting on that thing.
I had a very small short list of things I wanted to do in Taiwan, and number 1 was ride a motorcycle, 2 was paraglide, and 3 was get a fat tattoo.
Fuck
so
yeah, dude.
saved the tattoo appointment, or trying to get a tattoo appointment till the end, which COVID shut it down, so that was a no-go.
Right.
Paragliding, didn't get the chance to, wasn't there long enough.
That would have been wild.
Ridiculous.
That would have been wild.
And then the number 1 thing was to learn to ride a motorcycle, because I knew here in Wisconsin you can only ride a motorcycle for 4 or 5 months out of the year comfortably. because of the snow, because of the general coldness.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, if it's 50 degrees, that's cold on a bike.
And the roads are terrible because of it, because everything thaws. And
So
potholes everywhere.
the opportunity to drive a motorcycle for 6 months was just
had to
sick.
take it, dude.
So
especially there.
Yep.
I mean, that was the main thing. I was like, fuck, dude, the geography must look crazy. Just because I love driving. Like, driving's awesome. It's very, very relaxing. A little bit, but yeah, I just pictured you rolling through like
over pineapple fields.
Did you go over
through
like mountains?
Yeah.
Damn. Dude.
It was sick.
Damn. So where'd you get it exactly?
So
how do you come about it, or did you just find it online or something?
So first 2 weeks I was in Taiwan was in that lockdown period, and I joined Facebook Messenger, and I just scrolled day and day. Kind of got a sense for
a lot of
how
used
much.
ones.
I was never gonna buy a new one because I was only there 6 or 7 months. So the goal was to use it, abuse it, ditch it, kind of thing.
It looked cool.
Yeah, it was a great bike.
It looked fucking cool.
So
kind of looked like something out of a movie.
Yeah. And it did look different than the ones there. A lot of them were kind of like the fathead gas tank ones, like kind of like they're called cafe riders. They're a little bit older, more military style, like just bulky. So this one was sweet. It was sleek.
Slim.
Yeah, it had aftermarket shocks. It had aftermarket muffler. Like it sounded different. So I found it on Facebook Marketplace like a week into quarantine, and I was like, yo, can you just hold it for me? Just hold it for me. I'll be out soon. I'll have money in hand. So I had to wait until I was out of quarantine. And then you have to pass the driving test over there. So for anything less than 200 cc, you can take it on a moped. So I practiced on a moped, took a skills and driving test, like at the Taiwanese DMV, basically.
Damn.
So I had to take in front of like an instructor. So I got that, and then
the English was fine. You did. How was that? Was that a little awkward or what?
We needed help. Like on the driving tests. I guess we don't really do that here in America, but most places that I saw for the DMV over there it was just in a little course. So the guy would walk around in full Chinese talking about the course. And my Chinese is conversational, like I can survive no problem. But when you get to like talking about
a driving course.
Yes, driving course, that's out the window. So it was just white noise to me. So I kind of just watched enough videos, and you just sit there and you kind of watch people go through and And I had our coordinator that I was with, she was phenomenal, and she helped us get scooters to rent to practice on. She helped.
That was with the whole group and stuff.
Yep. So we all learned.
That's
we all learned together. All took the test together. All grinded.
They just got everyone on bikes.
Yep.
Because you got to need it. I mean, you're gonna need them.
Yep. We were.
Do anything.
I mean, I took it like 2 hours outside the city sometimes. So
I was just about to ask how far you actually took that.
That was an interesting experience.
2 hours.
It hurt my ass for sure.
Dude, yeah. 2 hours 2 hours on just a flat road. That'll hurt your fucking ass.
So to circle back, basically took the test, and then the next day I took the subway 45 minutes north to go pick up the motorcycle. I have to that point I had never gotten on a motorcycle before, but I bought one at the DMV that day. So I brought my motorcycle helmet with me up on the subway. We traded the keys at the DMV for the cash, and he's kind of staying there. I bought it from a dude not much older than me. It was his first bike. He needed a car, so he was upgrading.
Hell yeah.
And so he sold me the bike, and he was just kind of standing there. He's like waiting for me to drive off. And I've watched YouTube videos. I figured out how to drive, but it was my first time ever putting my hands on a handlebar, and I was just like, oh, I have to make a call. Go ahead without me. Like, I'll just go. Yeah. So I waited until he left, put the phone down, pulled up YouTube again, and taught myself how to drive on that motorcycle in the parking lot before the sunset, so I could drive it the 45 minutes back.
The minute you picked it up.
Yep. Yeah, I was like, I need to learn how to drive this specific one. So I threw on a YouTube video right here.
Because that was your way home, dude.
Yeah, that was my way home. I needed How
was that ride home? Was it scary?
45 minutes up there on the train, 3.5 coming back.
Yeah.
Because at every stoplight,
was it dark?
I would die. Like the motorcycle would die because I couldn't keep it on, because I was still trying to figure out the cadence of
you got to shift
the clutch and when to shift
and stuff,
and how to keep it idle at a light. That was the hardest thing. So it took me forever. I got back, I was like dripping in sweat. Because I couldn't just leave it on the road somewhere. I couldn't leave it in the DMV because they had a gate that opened and closed.
And you were alone.
And I had to figure out how to get back. So I learned on YouTube and then drove it back. And
holy fuck, dude! I would have been shitting bricks.
That was one of those experiences. That was so character
in the middle of Taiwan.
And it's
dude, yeah, that would have been fucking
90
wild.
degree heat. I'm wearing a motorcycle helmet, getting absolutely cooked by the sun, and I
On the
was
side of the road,
Yep.
just like trying to figure this shit out. Fucking
And-
people flying by.
Correct. That was another
was
thing.
it loud as fuck?
Yeah, kind of. I had a great helmet, and I
Yeah.
had a Bluetooth speaker in the helmet, so I could blast tunes while I was
Oh,
driving.
shit.
which
That's
is-
dope.
Yeah,
Yeah, you gotta have that.
that was sweet. So adding a soundtrack to whipping across the
Oh
Taiwanese
my
traffic.
god, wild.
But coming back, I was like super nervous. Like I had driven a scooter on the road before, like a moped on the road before. So I knew the kind of pace of traffic. I knew that there would be people coming close. But I got on the motorcycle, and as I'm coming back, all of a sudden I feel a sting, and I was like, oh, did I just
God.
get like a bee sting or something? And then this dude comes past me, and it was the zipper from his jacket had hit me. He was that close.
Whoa.
So that was like the rudest awakening.
It
I
just
could've had.
like he was
It
just
snapped me.
driving
yeah,
by.
So it was open, and so as he drives by, it just whips me in the back, the end of
Holy
the
fuck.
zipper.
So like foot away.
Yeah.
It's just
So-
like whipping right by you.
So that was a rude awakening. Like I need to be attentive at all times. Like texting and driving isn't a thing there. Like you will die if you try to text
Yeah,
and drive
That's
because
fucked.
there's a very
Are there
traffic laws.
stoplights?
There are stoplights, and they're 90 seconds, which is brutal.
90 seconds.
So there would be a number.
How
so
does
it's right
that
at
work?
90, because there are
the
usually
fuck?
3 or 4 lanes. So when it's a 4-way stop, there's 3 or 4 lanes. It's not.
Oh,
So
Jesus.
it's a cluster.
Oh, God.
And so 90-second lights, so I'd just be chilling there. And the roads there, you can take a scooter or a motorcycle up on the sidewalk. There would be cars up on the sidewalk. I hate to describe it like this, but it's the Wild West.
Yeah,
Like it's the straight up Wild West. Like you had to be attentive at all times.
that's
People,
insane.
Older
Probably a lot
generations
of
would
deaths.
tend. Oh, big time. I think there was, just in accidents, I think I probably knew 30 or 40 people that were driving scooters. There was at least 5 or 6 accidents. Like that's not great odds.
No, that's horrible.
Yeah.
30 or 40 or 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not great.
So,
That's not great.
but it was just so commonplace.
Yeah.
It's just a way of life. And people, I saw a family of 4 on one moped before.
How?
A kid-
Oh my
You got
god.
a kid on the
that's
lap,
so
a kid in between the
dangerous.
legs, and the mom holding on to the back. Or the mom holding on to a small child while holding on to the dad, and then the kid down where his feet would be.
Oh my.
So just the level of safety controls that they have
Right.
over there was so different. So that was tough to get used to.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I mean, their baseline for safety
Mm-hmm.
is like nothing. At that point, fucking on the roads compared to, I guess, out here.
And there were differences in the laws too. So
Mhm.
like when you come to a 4-way intersection, if in America, if you want to take a left, you stay on the left side, and then when it turns green, you wait until there's no oncoming traffic and you take your left turn.
Right.
But over there, you shoot across the intersection to a box on the other side of the intersection. So
What?
you go when you're trying to take a left, you go straight through about 75% of the intersection, and then there's a little white box, and you turn your scooter so you're facing left now.
Right.
So you go across, you
I see
turn,
it,
you're
yeah.
going like this,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's how you
They
take a
have
left
a
turn.
box. They
That's,
have a box
that was so foreign
for
to
like
me.
one person, one
No, it would be
vehicle
like
at a time.
15 scooters. Like
Oh.
if there's a lot of people trying to turn left, everyone's going straight, but the people who want to turn left go to the right side so they can get in the box, and then they're facing
They have to
straight.
get in the box.
And
That's
so-
funny.
And the box is like 15 or 20
I wonder why they
feet
have a
ahead of-
box. I wonder who designed it that
I
way.
mean, after using it like that, dude, those left turns, people will always try to shoot the left turns while there's oncoming traffic through an intersection, and that's how I see so many. That completely
Yikes.
eliminates that.
Oh, okay.
So like in America, people are
Everybody
impatient
has to
and they'll
wait for
try-
the people to like.
Yeah,
in
so
the box.
Yeah, so sometimes it'll be a yellow blinking arrow to take a left turn
Okay,
out of a
gotcha.
4-way intersection here in America, and people will cut that, and that's where those accidents happen.
Yeah.
This
yeah.
way, they have to sit until that lane of the intersection goes, and they just get to go in front of them.
Gotcha.
So a lot safer. So things like that.
That
learning
does
on the
make sense
DMV,
now that I
stuff
think
like
about
that.
think about it, because turning left
Mm-hmm.
into oncoming traffic is always a bitch.
It's kind of scary too.
It's kind of scary, and like, you don't want to be you feel like a dick if you're sitting there for like over a minute,
and if it
there's
turns
just like
red
a bunch
and
of
you're
people.
in the intersection, then
Yeah.
you got to cut through on all reds. Like
Yeah.
that's brutal.
Well, I think I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's like you're legally allowed. I think out here. It's like you're legal. 2 cars are like legally allowed to cut, like to turn after it turns red if they're.
Everyone just waits and lets them through. and
Yeah,
they go.
in California, I think it's 4 because there's so much goddamn traffic out there.
Yeah.
It's like you're allowed like 4 people to go, but yeah, that
So
sounds
lots of
wild,
differences.
though. That
Yeah.
sounds wild. Jesus.
But riding a motorcycle, dude, oh my gosh. Like
so freeing. Jesus.
I won't actively admit to any traffic crimes. Actually, it doesn't matter now that I'm there. But
yeah.
But oh my goodness.
You can just whip through.
Lane splitting, all that's just completely commonplace. No one,
Right.
and the whole thing
It's
is,
expected.
you know, like when you get cut off, say if I got cut off out there, or an American would, they would get so pissed off that they got cut off. They would take that personally. Mm-hmm. Well, because the focus is so much on personal safety when you're out there on the roads, you're only responsible for yourself. So if someone cuts you off, it is your responsibility. You can't be mad. They're just trying to do what's best for them.
Right.
So
everybody understands that.
Correct.
Everybody's like out for themselves.
Correct. If you would bump into someone, they're not going to look at you and be like, I'm going to take offense to that. They're going to be like, I'm glad we're both safe and let's continue.
Wow, that's crazy.
So it wasn't like they were all kind or anything like that, but just the mindset while driving is
different
protective
mindset.
Driving at all times.
Right. Because people know how fucking dangerous it is.
Right.
Yeah. They'd rather take a little bump, ride with this person for a little bit, than fucking die.
Yeah, they'd rather let that person in first.
Yeah.
Like there's no competition there. Just go ahead.
Everybody's going.
I'm
like,
not going to take it personally.
Everybody's going relatively the same.
Right, and
speed.
Anything behind you, like on the motorcycle here in America, I would probably look at my motorcycle. If I was driving, I would look left and right, use the things a lot. Mm-hmm. But because everyone is so close, whether in front of you, to the side, looking back. It's super dangerous because someone could stop right in front of you. You're driving 3 feet behind someone,
and you got somebody 3 feet behind you.
Yes. So all you're paying attention to is your field of view right in front of you because that's all you can control. If someone hits you, it doesn't matter. Being able to look behind won't matter. You're going to get hit.
That's
because
wild.
of the proximity of the people.
Totally different mindset.
Like
for driving,
you're so close that you're feeling the exhaust of the scooter in front of you, like gas your body.
Probably getting a little high too. Jesus, those fumes.
Lots of gas.
Yeah. My God.
But yeah, driving motorcycle through metropolitan, like I stayed in what was the equivalent of Taiwanese Chicago. So a city called Kaohsiung, 2.8 million people. I lived not too far from the second tallest building in all of Taiwan.
Holy
almost lived
shit.
in
How
the
tall?
shadow of that. It's got to be 85 floors, I think.
My God. You went to the top?
Nope, closed due to COVID.
Oh,
Shame.
That sucks.
Shame.
That would've been a cool
had multiple hotels in there, had movie theaters in there, had stores in there, convenience stores, like casinos. Like it was fat. It was a big one.
My God. Like the Mall of America and a 85 floor tower.
Dude, just driving from at the base of that such a tall building all the way out to the mountains among pineapple, banana, mango fields, like just.
I definitely remember you saying, like there was everything in between there, like from the mountains basically down to the ocean and the big cities,
right?
The rural parts.
I could drive an hour and a half south and be in a surf town that equaled Hawaii, or I could drive like 4 hours north and be in a city as dense as New York City. Like just the geographic diversity there,
right?
Ridiculous,
right? And so I always forget it's not an island, is it? It is an island. Okay, I get confused it being on the coast or it being an island. Okay, so it is just like a gigantic island.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember now the maps you were showing me. Yeah, and like where you were going.
And it's not even that big. It takes 4 hours to drive from the top to the bottom like that, and there's 23 million people.
God.
On that island, and a lot of it is still nature. Like there are huge nature preserves.
Right.
A lot of it's uninhabited.
Yeah, I remember the map a little bit. A lot of the cities are like on the edge.
Yep.
All right, all along like the coast, right? Are there volcanoes on that island?
No volcanoes. I don't know where it is in reference to the Ring of Fire though, because I'm pretty sure the Ring of Fire does cut through East Asia.
Oh yeah, maybe.
But I'm not sure where. No,
what are the mountains like?
Lots of earthquakes though. Like,
really?
Like every week there'd be an earthquake.
Holy shit! Wonder do they get bad flooding and stuff or?
Not really. They do pretty well in terms of that kind of stuff. Natural disasters.
Tsunamis.
Monsoons are fucked. Like Wisconsin, rain in Wisconsin, like heavy rain in Wisconsin. Yeah, it's brutal.
It's getting worse. It is getting kind of bad.
In Taiwan, it would be like you are taking a shower every time you step outside with like 40-mile-an-hour winds just blowing you left and right. Like, and
that was like the majority of the day.
That's
like the majority of the days.
There would be like 15-minute spurts of that, but it's just if you are outside, you're going to get destroyed by rain.
You should just expect
soaked.
it.
Yeah, like I was riding a motorcycle in Chacos, so like sandals. Because in rubber sandals because you can't wear shoes. I tried wearing shoes one time.
Waterlogged.
Oh, they still squeak.
No way.
Those are the ones I was wearing yesterday.
They never really got.
They're Nike running shoes.
Never really got
and
dry.
They're so squeaky now.
Ooh, might want to toss those.
But yeah, so
Jesus, dude.
Earthquakes they have had a couple serious earthquakes in the past couple decades, but monsoons, yeah, just the snow. The mountains will have snow.
Okay.
In the winter as well.
How tall are they? Are they like? Because I know Mount Adams is like 12,000 feet. I know that, and that's like a relatively mid-sized mountain. I want to say. Like I climbed that.
How big was it?
I summited that 12,000 feet.
Nice.
Summited that with the boys out in Washington in like 6-7 hours. But I mean that's up there.
So in Taiwan there are 286 mountain summits that are over 9,000 square feet or 9,000 feet.
That's a lot. Jesus. That would be fun, dude.
So like
do some
12,000,
backpacking out through there.
Yeah, it seems like the highest one is about 12,700 feet.
What type of wild animals do they have in those fucking crazy jungles? Also
very weird because like no horses because the island's not that big, so they can't have like free roam horses or things like that. A lot of small animals. Like we were having a friend of the program show us around one of the surf spots, and we went into this like it was like a nature preserve, but also a museum, and it talked about the size of the animals because resources are relatively small. The big animals can't survive there. Like a bear couldn't survive there because there's not enough like prey. Like the life cycle wouldn't support a bear. But there are like capybaras or like tiny little, basically mouses that have a mix between a mouse and a capybara. Like a little.
What the hell?
Like a little hog, like a tiny little hog. Like that's
little rodent.
Yeah. Lots of different types of birds.
Monkeys.
I mean, yep, monkeys. Like at one of the schools, my friend taught at a school
monkeys?
where the monkeys, they've been known to open the windows or come into the classroom through the windows.
Really?
They're like relatively aggressive monkeys. Like they will.
Oh yeah.
There's a college.
Monkeys will get what they want.
Yeah, there's a college university, at like one of these beaches, and the monkeys would come down onto the beach where this university is, and like just go through the library or like go into students' dorms. You have to lock down your dorms because a monkey, if you leave a window open, a monkey can go in there. Like imagine a monkey wrecking your dorm.
Yeah, that's insane, bro. That's wild. Like, oops, I left my window open. A monkey got in.
Went into my mini fridge.
He shit in my bed. That's crazy, bro.
So yeah, it's a tropical island basically. Yeah. It's just straight tropical island.
Damn. I mean, it reminds me of when I went to Belize, like that kind of thing. Where, Belize is kind of the same deal where it's right on the coast, and it's got the same deal where like mountains kind of on one end of the country, and then goes all the way down to the ocean on the other end, and you got all the little tiny like keys and islands and stuff out there. Wild, dude. Like tropical places are so wild.
And I wonder if that's because we're coming from Wisconsin.
Probably.
Because
it's just so different. Like, I mean, I've been to Florida like a few times, but that's not like when I went to Belize, that was tropical. Like, I mean, that's like Central America. But that was the most tropical, like, environment that I've ever been in, and that's like a rare opportunity for living up living up here, it's a long ways away.
Life especially when it comes to like temperature and that kind of thing, it's just very moderate here. Like it's
right.
The cold uncomfortable, but in terms of the summers, like compared to even across the country, we experience very mild summers, very mild falls. It's just the winter. So then to go to a place where it's not moderate ever. It's just cooking.
Just cooking all the time, and there's just lush green. Just the wildlife or the plants just are huge. That was probably the biggest thing. That I noticed first off was the plants in Belize. They were just gigantic because it rains so much. You get so much sun. Everything's just overgrown as fuck. But yeah, dude. I mean, Have you ever? So did you do any ocean stuff? Like, did
Definitely.
you? Yeah, because when I went down there, I did some snorkeling
Sweet.
and like saw some turtles, some sea turtles, and
That's more in line with what I did over in Taiwan.
We there was some nurse sharks, or like the sharks that don't the sharks that don't hurt you or anything. Got to like pet some of those, but I don't know if you did any of that stuff, but
Yeah, a few weeks before the country shut down, me and my buddy Rory, shout out to Rory Madigan,
shout out to Rory.
Him and I went scuba diving. Like
Straight up scuba diving.
Scuba diving, yo.
Wow.
Which was sick, which was super
I didn't
sick.
know that. Holy shit.
So
Take a class and everything? Or like was it? I'm sure it wasn't. Was it like crazy scuba dive, or was it kind of
yes, we took a class. Basically, it was just an instructor giving us the rundown. He could tell we were relatively apt. We were relatively with it. I mean, we had.
Yeah.
I had looked
You
up
weren't
videos.
diving on like a shipwreck.
No, it was deep as 24 feet. So I mean,
it wasn't anything.
2 kicks and you could have been on your way towards the surface at any point. So it's not nothing crazy.
Gnarly. Yeah.
But it was just.
That's cool though. Damn.
This guy who spoke perfect English, thank God he did, and he just ran us through the suit. They did stay connected to us. Like sometimes they would let us float off or whatever. But there was at some point, just because they had taught us how to do it an hour ago, they stayed super close to us.
Right.
But got to swim along sea turtles. It's a $10,000 US fine if you fuck with the sea turtles there.
Wow.
So, but we got so close that had I dropped my finger, we would have touched them. Like we literally got so close to them. You just can't touch them.
That's sketchy.
And after years and years of this, they're so docile that they'll just look back at you and then they'll go back to digging.
Because they know.
Yep, they will not. They know that there's 0% chance that they'll be touched, which is a cool relationship.
It's a haven.
Cool relationship for humans to have with animals.
The reefs like in good health.
I'm not sure. Couldn't go out that far.
You didn't see.
So I did see like
anything?
coral and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Lionfish. The guy brought Rory over to a lionfish and got him so stupid close to the lionfish. We get back up to the water and he's like, "That was a lionfish, wasn't it?" And the guide who was helping him or whatever, the scuba diver, he said, "Yeah." And Rory's like, "Those are kind of dangerous, aren't they?" And his English wasn't the best. All he said was, "Yeah, hospital," and then just walked away.
Holy fuck.
So stuff like that was.
They can send you to the hospital? Are they super poisonous?
Yeah, they're poisonous. So that was.
Jesus. You saw it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Probably like this big.
I would have shit a brick.
It was cool.
Yeah, it probably looks crazy.
So yeah, did that.
Damn. Bro. Holy shit. I can't. Yeah, scuba diving. I mean, dude, that's crazy, bro. That feeling. Because when I was just snorkeling, I mean, I saw some scuba divers down there, and I was like, man, I wonder what it's like to just be able to move around in the water without having to worry about coming up, and just being like that free to do whatever you want down there and go check everything out. Like,
I'm sure like shipwreck diving and deep water diving, that's got to be a little bit more stressful, but honestly it was.
My dad did that stuff.
Really?
Yeah. Sketchy.
Yeah.
He's done it in the Great Lakes.
No way.
There's a ton of shipwrecks in the Great Lakes.
That'd be sweet.
But he definitely had to go through like some crazy classes because you can fuck your shit up.
Yeah, definitely. Like some people did when the Fulbrighters that were there for 11 months, they would go and spend a weekend because you can get certified in a 3-day weekend. You're just diving 8 hours a day taking class. Like, so it's intense. And Taiwanese certification for scuba divers is recognized worldwide. So you can take it elsewhere too, which would be sweet.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, it was just you're just kind of like in a meditative state. And you just kind of you hear no sounds unless you're creating them or it's the bubbles. Like
all visual.
All visual.
You're floating
and
through
the water
space.
It's bath water. And like I'm sure in other places like the Great Lakes, that's not warm. Like you will be cold as shit down there at the bottom
freezing.
of the Great Lakes. So for me to be,
it was warm, right?
Yeah, I was wearing a wetsuit, but I was literally warm.
Yeah.
The whole time. So it was just like a sensory deprivation take, basically, but with a view of the tropical underwater scene. So ridiculous.
Bro. That is wild.
And
it's like you're in space.
And I think I have arrhythmia, so my heartbeat is messed up. So, and I think with people with heart issues, you're not supposed to scuba. But I was like, I can't not give up this opportunity. If something happens to my heart, I can do 2 kicks and I'll be up at the surface and just be done. But I was like, I got to take, this is a risk that's willing to take. And it was.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure obviously you were fine. But if anything were to go, you would notice it. You would recognize it. But
if I stop breathing.
yeah.
So,
Don't say that. Knock on wood. But
So that was probably my biggest ocean adventure.
That stuff kind of freaks me out, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that would be so awesome to go do, but I know I would be freaked out. Like, leading up to it and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I would obviously have to like have like a buddy there or something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that kind of stuff just freaks me out because you're totally. I mean, it freaks you out for a reason because you're doing something that could definitely kill you. I mean, it's dangerous and it's completely out of this world. Like, I mean, scuba diving is not something you do every day unless you're living that life.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, that's one of those things, like the ultimate out of your comfort zone, moments too, like where you're just experiencing something that you might only experience a few times in your whole life.
Mm-hmm. It's so hard to be present. Like,
yeah,
that was one thing I struggled with the whole trip is that, yeah, you can say I'm working on being present, but I don't know. It was just when I was seeing something cool, like when I was down there trying to create and take that mental picture, there's no true way to soak it in so much that you can return to it. You can remember it as a memory, but to fully live in the present, that all these self-help and all the meditative stuff talks about these days, to be so in that present, I found it so hard to be. And that kind of disappointing because I want to go back to that place. I want to be back in that headspace. I want to go back to that experience. And yes, I can remember it. Yes, I have pictures. But to really feel the feelings and to truly be present, that's something that's so tough when you're in a foreign place, when you're surrounded by strangers or people you just met. It's
very true. Wise words, though. I mean, it's real. That's the reality of it.
Understanding the importance of presence, being present, I think is so big these days.
Dude, for sure. 100%. I mean, because everybody, I feel most people aren't. I mean, this life is crazy. Like, being a person, there's just so much shit you got to worry about, like.
You got to take a second to stop and smell the roses. And maybe, honestly, not to turn it back to COVID, but sounds good. Not to bring this back to COVID, but I think it was a stop and okay, I have a hard time saying this because of all the bad things that happened because of COVID, but for those who made it luckily out unscathed, I think it was a stop and smell the roses type of situation. So
yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it was. I mean, throughout that whole entire thing, it was. Definitely, I felt like I was in a different world.
You're stuck with yourself. You're in a position never have human beings had to spend so much time with themselves. So it makes sense that mental health issues were on the rise. It makes sense.
That's very true. Yeah,
things like that, like
people had to face their demons,
and people that had been running or had been using coping habits to run were no longer allowed to run. So they had to face a lot of things. So I think it was a very interesting shakeup for a lot of people. Those of us who were, again, lucky to make it out unscathed. Yeah. Yeah, for real. I mean, it brought up, I think it just forced people to, like you said, just like stop and take a look at where they are and take a look at what they've done in their lives and stuff they haven't done in their lives and, their goals and stuff. And yeah, I mean, reprioritization of things that they value, for sure.
I think it was so necessary, to be honest, because to me it's so hard to remember the world that we were in before now that it's been this long. Like, I can't recognize that world almost anymore. Like, obviously that's like kind of an over exaggeration, but yeah, this is just like, it's just, everything is just new. Like, everything has just got the reset button.
Everyone had that same chapter start and end.
Yep.
So, like, when we think about our college days, that's pre-COVID. That's where we start. That's our frame of reference is pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID. And everybody's got a little bit different. Yeah, and hopefully that can bring just like, hopefully that can connect people a little bit more. I hope this whole shit can connect people like more. That's kind of the reason why I wanted to do this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, man.
We've been stewing in our thoughts for a year.
Yeah. Well, and even, like, before it all happened, I feel like there was a disconnection issue just with, like, the way just, like, we live our lives now with all of this technology and all of this, just these facades of, you know, these talking heads who are giving us information and stuff. I don't know. It seemed, yeah, I felt like a big disconnect even before it, and like like the whole thing exaggerated even more, and I don't know. Hopefully, yeah, I don't know. I just hope that people can just connect through this whole experience, through this whole related shared world experience more. You know, I just hope that people, yeah, learned a little something about themselves, and hopefully got a little bit better in their own lives and stuff. Man, obviously that's not going to be everybody, but shit. I mean, this is, yeah, I don't know. If you didn't look at like this past year as an opportunity to do some like huge change or like
personal
just
growth,
reset something in your life, man, that like even and even now, even just going forward, like this is the perfect time. You know, it's everybody. Yeah,
you can kind of reinvent yourself a little bit.
Yeah,
per se.
Right. Just try something new. I mean, because everything's new now. If we're living in the pandemic times or the post-pandemic times, or now we got more stuff coming. Who knows? Nobody knows, man. Like, hopefully
now you're better armed to deal with whatever comes next.
Yep.
Internally.
Yeah.
Not externally, because
right.
there's very few ways you can control what's going to happen to you in the external. But at least, I mean, if you can come out of a period like COVID with a positive mindset or having felt like you've grown, I think that's a win in itself.
Yeah, bro. Preach 100%. Preach. Yeah, and I mean, it's just an opportunity. The whole thing is just you got to look at it like an opportunity, I think. But yeah, your whole experience, bro, like that, having that perspective is going to be nuts going forward in life. I think living through that. And yeah, I like what you said about that sense, like being present and how that is a struggle. Because I totally agree. I mean, I definitely struggle with that shit. And like I worry a lot about like stuff I shouldn't even, I don't know, just like, you know, where the world's headed, like big picture stuff. You know, it's just stuff I think about. And obviously, like, you know, get a little bit of anxiety in there too. Got to have a little bit of that. But yeah, being present is so hard, dude. And yeah, even when, like you said, I mean, I think you saying that, and like, I can picture you out in Taiwan just like going through all that, experiencing like this whole crazy new world, this like beautiful place on earth that I don't know anybody that's had that experience. I mean, you now have like these memories that can, it's like a power that can give like all your friends and all your family like insights into that whole place and that culture, and just the differences of throughout all of last year, throughout all that stuff. And yeah, I think that shit's amazing. Like the fact that I know someone that I got like a best friend like that's had an experience like that. Fuck. Like, dude, that's sick.
Yeah.
That's so sick.
Thanks.
I mean, yeah, dude. It's all about learning, I think. It's all about learning. Hopefully, man, I really want an experience like that again soon, because, dude, I like traveling. It's the best. I love traveling. Haven't been able to for a while, but damn, need to definitely want to like have a vacation soon.
hop on a plane somewhere.
Yeah, I've been stacking up some PTO.
Solid.
Yeah, bro. All right, dude. Well, I think that was an awesome combo.
Thanks.
I like that.
It was fun.
Dude, yeah. I mean, hearing about that stuff is so sweet, and I'm sure you got a ton more stories, but yeah, that was hearing about this. I love hearing about that stuff. Definitely wanted to record that and like be able to go back to this.
This will be fun to look at.
Yeah, exactly. Especially too because I wanted it to be fresh. You know, you wait too long on something like that, the memories start to.
My opinions will start to change.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the biggest thing. Raw. I mean, going back to like when I was in Belize too, like when I came back from there, and that was only 2 weeks, like 14 days, not long at all. Nothing in comparison to what you went through, but still very like monumental thing. But coming back, it was, I totally recognized that those memories were fading. Mm-hmm. And I totally was recognizing that I was like, oh shit, in a year, I'm not going to be able to remember like 80% of what those, like the specific details that I did in that place. And like those memories, like obviously I have vague like memories of it and like overall, an overall idea about it. But the ability, just having something fresh and like you can still remember all those little like specific tiny details. Mm-hmm. Oh man, it's had to get it out of you fresh, dude. I'm sure we'll talk about it more though, but definitely. That was fucking awesome, bro.
It's been fun.
Yeah, dude, that was fun. All right, peace.